I've got a lot of big life changes coming up. To get the biggest one out of the way first, I've decided to leave the Army after being in for 4 years. I actually hadn't planned on getting out after only one contract from the start, but times change and so do people. I've still got a couple of months left and there's still a lot to do, but I just wanted to update you guys on what I want to do going forward. When I end up getting fully transitioned out, there's a lot of cool stuff I've got planned. Aside from a trip that I've been planning for the past few months, there's a pretty significant choice I have to make: whether or not to go to school for animation. I've never taken a single class about animating or even art in general. The way I've learned everything so far has just been by thinking of something that I thought would look cool and then trying to make it happen. I've actually learned quite a bit by doing it like that, but the past 6 months or so, I've tried learning animation through buying books and reading those, watching things like show openings and cool scenes from whatever's popular right now, and then just going back and watching them frame by frame so that I can see how different studios and artists do things. The perfect example of this is the Sung Jin-woo vs. Egress fight. I've watched that scene at least 50 times since I finished the show, and probably another 10 or 20 times frame by frame. There was this time a couple weeks ago when I called home and my family asked what I was up to, only for me to launch into this drawn-out rant about how cool the sound design, mid-fight style change, and the tiny fluctuations in his gauntlet to show that he was taking damage were, as well as a ton of other things I won't bore you with. By the time I realized this was a bunch of stuff they probably had zero interest in, I looked at the little timer that shows you your call length and saw that I'd talked for over an hour straight about a scene that lasts for 1 minute and 19 seconds. The point I'm trying to get at is doing this kind of work is something that actually makes me happy. As my family and friends could tell you, I'm a pretty stressed person most of the time, but when I work on drawing or animation, it seems like everything is significantly better. If I mess up a scene, who cares? I can just go back and see where I went wrong and do it over again. What if I had a bunch of little funny details and nobody notices? That doesn't mean I can't go back and laugh at them myself. It just seems like all of the things that I usually stress about, like with work and life in general, just doesn't impact me as much with animation because I'm having so much fun with it. It's not like with my job now, or really any job that I've had, where I want to get better because I feel like I'm letting somebody down or somebody could get hurt if I don't. I just want to get better because I really enjoy doing it and I want to move on to the next fun thing that I can learn how to do. It's one of those things that I think everybody experiences at one point or another. It's just nobody really says it. You want to get good at the things that you enjoy and share them with other people. All that being said, I think there are definitely a lot of things I need to learn how to do. For example, I draw every frame you see by hand because my program's pretty basic. How I make every animation that you see is I draw every frame in Procreate and then transport it over to Flip-A-Clip so that I can have higher quality pictures, which, yes, takes forever, but I like the way it looks. I know learning all of these programs and all of the skills in between is going to be very important if I want to get a job in this industry, but I just haven't been able to do it on my own. I haven't made a for sure decision if I want to go for an entire degree in animation yet, but I still have a semester left in the degree that I started while in the Army, so I'll use that time to make the decision. Another nice thing will be that I'll have the chance to work on doing better voices. It's something I've wanted to work at a little bit more, but I also don't want to bother my roommate with it too much since I only have time to do these voiceovers at night. Once I have my own place though, it won't matter what time I practice them. I could be practicing a SpongeBob impression at 1:30 in the morning and nobody would even know. But I'll know. Growing up, I really liked doing voices because it was a fun way to keep me and my siblings occupied during summer vacation. When I went back home for leave a few months back, I was watching a certain popular show that featured a lot of fighting with my sister, and I decided to try voicing over one of the fights for nostalgia's sake, and remembered how much fun I had with it, so I'd really like trying to do it again. Even though there's so much stuff that I'm excited for coming up, I will miss one thing when I leave. I didn't have very many friends before joining. I don't know why, because I have such an outgoing and bubbly personality, but it is what it is. Now I've got quite a few friends, and that's been a lot of fun, but I'll have to say goodbye to them as well when I leave. There's the platoons I was attached to as their line medic, the other medics I worked with, and a few others I've met along the way. If you end up seeing this, thanks for working with me all this time. Hopefully we can meet again someday, and keep in touch between now and then. It'll definitely be a challenge to adapt to all these changes coming, but there's also the potential for it to be more fun than anything I've ever done before. Nothing's certain, but then again, I don't think anything worth doing is ever a sure thing. So, with that in mind, I look forward to going on this next adventure with you guys. See you next time.